Thanks so much, Jay. The draft is behind us, and NBA teams are starting to make some decisions with their roster. The champion Knicks will sign Jose Alvarado to a 3-year deal after he declined his player option. As for the Thunder, they lock in some size in a competitive Western Conference. Isaiah Hartenstein intends to sign a new 3-year, $75 million contract to run it back with OKC through the 28-29 season. However, as we get closer to free agency, a few major questions still loom. Will the Celtics trade Jaylen Brown, and will LeBron re-sign with the Lakers or take his talents elsewhere? All right, welcome in our NBA front office insider, Bobby Marks, who's with us right now for more on these topics around the NBA. And our Shams Charania reported that the Celtics are actively listening to trade offers for Jaylen Brown. A lot of conversation that has come from that. So, Bobby, how do teams view Jaylen Brown right now as an asset?
I mean, there is a spirited debate going on in front offices right now regarding Jaylen Brown. There's, on one side, there is the analytics debate, and the analytics do not view Brown as a high-level player. A negative net rating over the last 4 years in Boston, -10 when he was on the court this year. And then there is the eye test, which I am more in the favor of, which is a player that finished 6th in MVP voting, was All-NBA this year, is 191 and 80 in the last 4 years, a player that can make an impact on the court. So it's going to be interesting who wins out on this debate as far as if there's a team that's going to go out and try to trade for Jaylen Brown here.
All-NBA, a Finals MVP, and an NBA champion as well. But I guess I'll just leave it there. Out west, LeBron James faces a critical offseason as a free agent. How much of it is in LeBron's best interest to re-sign with LA this offseason?
Well, I think LeBron's got to balance the family part of it. Certainly he resides in Los Angeles. I think there is the financial angle of it too. Certainly a player that's earned close to $600 million. And then there's the third part, which I think is probably the most important. What gives him the opportunity to compete for a championship? I think it's going to be interesting as far as where the Lakers are with this roster. Now, they've got $50 million in cap space to go out and fill in the blanks here, but you've got to figure out what LeBron's number is going to be before you actually can go out and commit to free agencies here. So it's a balancing act from the Lakers, and it's a balancing act as far as what LeBron's going to do over the next few days here.
Yeah, everyone will be looking forward to what happens with LeBron James as we look forward to next season. Bobby Marks with the latest. Thanks so much, Bobby.
Mike Custer with you. The offseason in the NBA has certainly been crazy. Giannis on the move, LaMelo, Dell, you had the draft, but probably no one's had a more strange experience than Celtic star Jaylen Brown. Included in Boston's offer for Giannis, Shams Charania says they're still shopping him. Jaylen Brown's future in green, it's our take two.
The fact of the matter is that in Boston, he's 1A. He wants to be 1.
I think while it's important to him, I don't think that's the only thing. I think it's the relationship between Jaylen Brown and the Celtics organization.
I'm excited to dive into the latest NBA news with Bobby Marks, our NBA front office insider. The draft is behind us, and teams are starting to make some decisions with their rosters. The champion Knicks will sign Jose Alvarado to a 3-year deal after he declined his player option. As for the Thunder, they've locked in some size in a competitive Western Conference. While they've got Hartenstein and Thanasis signed to new deals, the big question is what will happen with Jaylen Brown and the Celtics. As Bobby Marks joins us, I ask him how teams view Jaylen Brown right now as an asset. He explains that there's a spirited debate going on in front offices regarding Jaylen Brown. On one side, there's the analytics debate, which doesn't view Brown as a high-level player. His net rating is a negative, and the analytics don't support him being a top player. However, on the other side, there's the eye test, which I think is more in favor of Brown. He finished 6th in MVP voting, was All-NBA this year, and has a great track record. I think it's interesting to consider both perspectives, but ultimately, it's going to be up to the teams to decide what they think of Jaylen Brown. Will they see him as a valuable asset, or will they view him as a player who can be traded? The fact that the Celtics are listening to trade offers for Brown says a lot about their perspective on him. But what do other teams think? Do they see him as a player who can make an impact on the court? As we discussed Jaylen Brown's future, I have to ask, what's going to happen with LeBron James? He faces a critical off-season as a free agent, and it's unclear what he'll decide to do. Bobby Marks thinks that LeBron has to balance his personal life with his professional goals. He resides in Los Angeles, and there's a financial angle to consider, but ultimately, LeBron wants to compete for a championship. The Lakers have $50 million in cap space to fill in the blanks, but they need to figure out what LeBron's number is going to be before they can commit to free agency. I think it's fascinating to consider LeBron's options. Will he re-sign with the Lakers, or will he take his talents elsewhere? The fact that he's earned close to $600 million already suggests that he's not just motivated by money. He wants to win, and he wants to be on a team that can compete for a championship. The Lakers have a lot of work to do to convince him that they're the right team for him. As we look at the NBA off-season, it's clear that there are a lot of moving parts. Teams are making decisions about their rosters, and players are considering their options. Jaylen Brown and LeBron James are just two of the many players who are in the spotlight right now. But what about the other teams and players? How will the NBA landscape change over the next few weeks? I think it's going to be an interesting few weeks, and I'm excited to see what happens. The NBA off-season is always full of surprises, and this year is no exception. Tie-in. From the draft to free agency, there are a lot of storylines to follow. And with Bobby Marks' expertise, we'll be able to break down all the latest news and rumors. As we continue to discuss the NBA off-season, I want to ask Bobby Marks more about Jaylen Brown's situation. What does he think is going to happen with Brown? Will he be traded, or will he stay with the Celtics? And what about LeBron James? Will he re-sign with the Lakers, or will he take his talents elsewhere? The next few weeks are going to be crucial for both players, and I think it's going to be fascinating to see what happens. The fact that the Celtics are still trying to shop Jaylen Brown is interesting. It suggests that they're not committed to keeping him, and that they're willing to listen to trade offers. But what does that say about their relationship with Brown? Do they not value him as a player, or are they just trying to make a move to improve their team? I think it's a complex situation, and there are a lot of factors at play. As we analyze the situation, I think it's clear that Jaylen Brown is a talented player. He's All-NBA, a Finals MVP, and an NBA champion. But despite all his accomplishments, he's still being shopped around. It's a strange experience for him, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Will he end up staying with the Celtics, or will he be traded to another team? The NBA off-season is always full of surprises, and this year is no exception. With players like Jaylen Brown and LeBron James in the spotlight, it's going to be an exciting few weeks. And with Bobby Marks' expertise, we'll be able to break down all the latest news and rumors. I think it's going to be a wild ride, and I'm excited to see what happens next. Will the Celtics trade Jaylen Brown, or will they keep him? And what about LeBron James? Will he re-sign with the Lakers, or will he take his talents elsewhere? The next few weeks are going to be crucial, and I think it's going to be fascinating to see what happens.